Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today, historic Boros Knights at the request of a friend. So this is for you, BJ. Now, he sent me his list, and it was a bit of a budget brew, and I decided to spice it up a little bit more. I think Knights has a lot of potential, but it does require quite a few rare cards for the deck to tick. Now, if the deck does do well, I might take a look at a more budget friendly version of this deck, but for now I want to see it at its full power. So for the most part, the deck is pretty standard. We're playing the knights that you would expect to see in the one slot. 4 copies of Fervent Champion, probably the best knight one drop in the deck. Then of course we have our Lord at the second slot, 2 CMC, and then I'm only playing 3 copies of Worthy Knight. I was actually thinking about dropping this down to 2 copies of Worthy Knight, which I might end up doing, maybe putting a little bit of removal in the main board. Worthy Knight is a card that's really cool, and it does proc a lot in this deck, but I find making 1/1 human creature tokens is not always the best. I wish they were knight tokens. How amazing would that be? But we are playing 4 copies of Benelish Marshal, which does buff up the human creature tokens. Also playing 4 copies of History of Benalia. He did not have this card in his deck, but I absolutely love History of Benalia. I think it's pretty powerful. It's easily disrupted because the opponent sees it coming a mile away, but look at that art. Isn't that art just gorgeous? I remember when I was playing this card in Standard, I definitely had a number of those knight tokens sleeved up in my deck box, and yeah, I can't get over how awesome the art is on this card, so I always like putting in a deck where I can. Then, of course, we're playing Embercleave, full 4 copies of it, because it's probably going to be the best way to close out a game. And then the 2 cards that have made this deck a little bit spicier are 4 copies of Guardian of Faith, a new card from the latest set. It's a Spirit Knight. How convenient is that? It's really great to hold up on turn 3, either to flash in to protect against a board wipe, or to just flash it in as a 3/2 attacker with Vigilance. It's a pretty great card on its own. So I think the biggest weak side or weak point about this knight deck is that you got to commit so many cards to the board, and you often don't have very good ways to protect your creatures. Of course, you could maybe go into Selesnya and play Heroic Intervention. You could play, cards that are like 3 CMC, give you all your creatures indestructible, but those cards tend not to be that great. However, Guardian of Faith kind of does what we want it to do and provides a really good body on a creature relevant type. So overall, I think Guardian Faith is a huge upgrade to this deck, and you must be playing it if you are trying to play Knights. And then I also thought about Teferi's Protection. I was, thinking about the deck after my friend mentioned it, and my mind went right to that idea of, oh, what do we do against board wipes? Well, I could play indestructible cards. Well, hey, what about Teferi's Protection? It's not a card that you see in many decks, but it just came out in Mystical Archives, and I think it's kind of undervalued. This card is bonkers in EDH. It's always a blowout when somebody has this in their hand, and I think holding up 3 mana for Guardian of Faith, or maybe a Teferi's Protection, could be really awesome. It actually protects against extinction events, or I've been seeing Yeheni's Expertise more and more in the format. From my last video, I think 2 people were running that in that particular video. So it's a lot better than just giving your creatures indestructible. We can just whisk them away, protect them, and probably have a lethal crackback most of the time because the deck is so aggressive. In the mana, it's pretty typical. A lot of dual lands, but Needle Verge Pathway, not that great. Most of the time I'm going to be putting this out on the white side, since our deck does have so many heavy white requirements. But yeah, it should be fine. Only playing 1 mountain, just in case one of our dual lands gets destroyed by like a Field of Ruin or something. We want to have some way to get at least 1 mountain for our Fervent Champion and Inspiring Veteran. If we don't have the red requirements, it's going to suck for Embercleave, but I think it's still probably worth it to just play the 1 mountain. And I also decided to put 1 copy of Cave of the Frost Dragon in the deck, because I have a feeling that this deck is going to be really good at taking the opponent down to like 2 or 3 life, and then getting blown out by a board wipe and just kind of getting stuck there. So maybe if we have access to a Cave of the Frost Dragon, we might be able to fly in and steal a couple of games here and there. Over in the sideboard, this is an area where I got to spend a little bit more time, figuring things out. I'm still kind of unfamiliar with what's going on in Historic, but for the most part, I saw a ton of control decks. Obviously, in my last video, it was 4 control decks, and I was getting super frustrated. So that means I got to play Thalia. Now, she's not a knight. She's a human soldier, unfortunately. But if we bring her in against those heavy control-oriented decks, I think it'll slow down their game plan just enough that we can maybe sneak out a win. Rest in peace for Graveyard Hate, Baffling End, if we need to bring it in against something maybe like Elves to take out an important Lord. I'm not sure. Also against Elves, 3 copies of Settle the Wreckage. My friend said he has a hard time against Flyers and against big green board states. So Settle the Wreckage is the perfect card for that situation. An additional copy of Teferi's Protection, just in case we want the full 4 of. We go up against heavy removal decks. And then I decided to put in a couple of Shield Breakers because I think it's pretty cool to have access to destroy target artifact. And then it's also a 2/1 for 2 Human Knight. So pretty neat overall card. So that is the Boros Knight deck. I love this deck. It's a deck that I have actually personally tried to play a couple of times, but I always kind of give up on it because it never seems to be quite powerful enough. But Guardian Faith is here, and maybe that's just enough power to make this deck playable. So jump into a couple games, see how they go. See you over there. All right, Boros Knights, historic, best of 3. Hope it works out. You've got to get some favorable matchups, I think, because the deck it's cool, it's interesting. It's definitely gonna have troubles though against certain things. It's gonna have troubles against itself, maybe, if we don't find our proper lands. But at least we have a turn 1 into a turn 2. Pretty good curve against Elves. Ugh. We need that 3rd land, please. Teferi's Protection could actually be pretty sweet against Elves because maybe we can catch them swinging in real hard and then vanish and crack back for Death Touch. This is a card I've never seen before. Wren's Run Vanquisher. Okay. That's sweet. Where did this card come from? Unfortunately, I can't even attack into it. I'm really surprised I don't see more people running that card. I guess the idea is that it's just a 3/3. It does have Death Touch, so that's pretty cool, but so many of the other 2-drop Elves do a lot more than just be a 3/3 body, right? So I guess that is the idea there. Come on, land. When we get our land, that on the white side. So opponent's got a pretty good attack coming in, but I think it's probably okay to go out with the History of Benalia. This, of course, is only when you cast a knight, so the knight token doesn't trigger it, unfortunately. It'd be pretty cool whenever a knight entered the battlefield under your control triggered. But maybe that's too much to ask for. Gonna take a little damage here, although I don't... Without a Lord, they're not really able to attack in too freely. They're loading that up. Okay. Oh, unfortunately, the opponent makes a bit of a mistake with that. So do I need to hold up the Teferi's Protection, or can I go out? I think I can actually kind of just go out. So we'll do this. If I have to throw that 2/2 under something, I can. I think I'm going to go in with these 2. Yeah. Okay. And of course, our knight tokens have vigilance. Always great to hold back on defense. Okay, they can't attack in. So we get a big pump here. Would have liked the land there to be able to hold up Teferi's Protection, but actually, you know what I probably should have done instead of putting out the Venerable Inspiring? I should have probably just Ember Cleaved. That actually might cost me the game, but maybe it's fine. Yeah, maybe this was a foolish attack. Definitely, the Ember Cleave would have been better. I also thought that this, when I did play it out originally, was the bodyguard, not the venerable knight. But that's okay. We're fine. We're just figuring this out, seeing if it can work properly. The opponent's in a bad spot. They're gonna have to put a lot of things in front of these 5 creatures just to survive, and then we do have the follow-up Embercleave either way. So they can make a 5/5 layer of the Hydra, which still has to trade with something. Actually, by putting that much mana into that... Oh, they don't die. It's close. Okay. So we should be able to find the 2 damage that we need. And yeah, a little bit sloppy. That's fine. Got lucky against an opponent struggling a little bit. Baffling End and Settle the Wreckage are going to be pretty good cards in this matchup overall. I don't need that many Teferi's Protections, because I think I'd rather just have the Settle the Wreckage for the big overswing that they're inevitably going to do, because that's what they do. And then I like the Baffling End against Elves. Just get rid of, the Death Toucher, for example. I'm going to leave 1 in. What else am I going to take out? Maybe a couple of Worthy Knights. I don't think they're that great. They do gum up the board, though. So, you know what? Maybe I'll do something like that. Okay. Have you seen a Knights deck running around in Historic? If you have, let me know. I'd be curious to see. I did try to do a little bit of research, but it didn't really show me anything. I think we have to get rid of that. Yeah, it didn't seem to be too many Knight options out there. I'm not going to be attacking with either of them, so I guess I'll just put out the Fervent Champion. That way I can at least get the protection from the Dauntless Bodyguard onto 1 creature. Okay. No follow-up, that's good. Okay. Well, our game plan is simple. History Benelia into Embercleave. Hope it's enough. I don't feel good about this one. I especially don't feel good about this one now. Okay, we'll take 2. It's fine. Okay, you know what? I feel a little bit better now that I have that Settle the Wreckage. I'll tell you that much. So maybe we take a big hit here, but if they are loading up the board for a big attack next turn, then oh boy. I always love playing Settle the Wreckage against Elf players because it so often leads to that auto concede. Oh, wow. Yeah, we might get it. I'm kind of glad they didn't pump. I was kind of thinking that maybe they would use the 6 mana plus 1 to pump. And now with the Allosaurus Shepherd, I think it's all but inevitable that we're going to get a massive Settle the Wreckage next turn. Gonna take our lumps here. In fact, I think I'm gonna block like that just to kind of show that I'm desperate. You know what? Maybe I might do that. Yeah. May as well. Since I'm losing the Dauntless Bodyguard, I may as well save another couple points of damage. Okay, I can put out either land. Sure, we'll do that. Oh, no. You got me, opponent. the client's giving it away that I have something that I can do with my mana. I don't like that. They're gonna. The problem is actually the Settle the Wreckage is really not going to be enough because they're going to have so much left over still. So I kind of got to hope for like an auto concede is honestly what has to happen. All right. Yeah, they still have so much. Look at that board. Oh, we're dead. But at least we got him with the settle. And they now have infinite mana. Put it on the Fervent Champion. Alright. Well, GG's opponent. It was fun, at the very least, right? We'll let them have their fun. We'll get them in game 3. 100% gonna happen. We tried. It's a little bit better when they have a Crater Hoof Behemoth to use this. So actually, well, no, it's neither of these cards are gonna save us from a board state like that. So try it. I'm super glad I'm not playing against a control deck. I think that's keeping my spirits up. Yes, the video that I recorded that video yesterday. The Gruul Burn video is what it was, and facing off against 4 control decks in a row really put a bad taste in my mouth. So to come back on and get smashed down by Elves actually doesn't seem that bad, which is so stupid to say, but amazingly Elves is the lesser of 2 evils in the case of Magic Arena right now. Well, lands came out a little awkwardly, but that's okay. Definitely go with the Benelia. Not lands came out. Creatures came out. It would have been nice to have the Venerable Knight on the field, obviously. And this Bright Blade is kind of annoying. No Death Touch monster here. Slow down everything. Well, I think I'm going to attack in. If they want to give me the 2/2 now, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't think so. So I think what it is going to be Venerable Knight and then flash in the Guardian of Faith. And then go for a huge attack next turn. Force them to maybe block something. They have a nice board, though. Yeah. Okie doke. Well, that's Elves for you, right? They're just a better tribe. It'd be really nice. I think I've said it before in so many other videos. I really want Wizards to take a little bit of time, look at Historic as a format, and recognize the other tribes that are in the format that are, you know, maybe a little bit popular or could be popular, and give them the same level of support that they've given to Elves. Like, it's absurd that they printed this many key cards into Elves, and you know, we're still sitting here with the Venerable Knight. Give a little bit of love to the other tribes. Just come on, man. Come on, Wizards. So we get to save our inspiring veteran. Kind of cool. Oh, look who showed up. Yeah, we'll attack like that. Oh, they had enough mana for it. Oh, of course they did. Ilamok is insane. Yeah, that's my bad. I actually didn't recognize that that was there. Oh, this is disappointing now. Yeah, this card alone. This card alone is just silly, right? How can they make a card that just does literally everything? Sucks that they're holding back that Archdruid. Well, they know the settle's here. Hmm. Yeah, we're not getting through this. Not with one inspiring veteran. Well, Benelish Marshall's pretty good, but they're gonna have way too much mana. Throwing in the towel. Let's hope we run into a better matchup for us. Next one. Flat tier 4. Goodness. All right. Match 2. Let's forget about the Elves. Just remember that we stole one game from them, and that's all that matters. Get to play first again. It's just not good enough, is it? I'm going to keep it, but definitely need to draw super hot. The next like 2 or 3 cards need to be perfect. It's not too much to ask for, is it? Control. Oh no. So of the 6 games I've played, it's been 5 control and 1 elf. That bodes well for the format. Oh, it's not. Okay. So our opponent's doing something cool, maybe with. Okay. I'm really intrigued now. Well, that was a great draw off the top. So can't complain about that. So what could this mean? Diligent Excavator. Are they going to go with a bunch of artifacts and maybe reanimate the artifacts? Is what we're going to see. Self-mill with Luris. Oh my goodness, I love what the opponent's up to. All right. Sure. Well, Stonecoil Serpent, pretty good blocker against my Inspiring Veteran. So they got some kind of combo going on here, and we don't really have anything. I'm not attacking with the Inspiring Veteran because they can just easily double block it. Okay. Well, gotta draw a non-land. That'll be great, deck. If you could do that for me. Okay, so we're never getting damage in again. That sucks. So Healy's just gonna load up the ground with so many servos. Come on, Embercleave off the top. That would be pretty rad. I think they put all 4 of their Underworld Breaches into the graveyard. That's insane. I kind of want to hit the Saheeli Ray because it's annoying, but I don't know. I think I'm just gonna go face. Keep around the Inspiring Veteran. Get in 6 damage. Not the worst. Yeah, I think this deck is a really good counter to our deck. Simply because we don't have, like, outside of Embercleave, we don't have any way of really pushing damage in, which is maybe a argument for going back to the drawing board and maybe taking a look at it. But I mean, that's a Knights deck. You're not going to get off the ground, right? I don't know, other than putting in maybe a little bit of direct face burn, maybe some Bone Crusher Giants. Yeah. Maybe I should have killed Saheeli when I had the chance. That was probably the thing to do. Okay, you know what? I'm actually going to concede this because they're going to loop it and they're going to keep making 1/1 servos, and there's just literally nothing I can do. So rest in peace, 100% coming in. I don't. Yeah, I guess we can bring in that. Maybe we can get that, destroy something before they can go off, and then I think also Thalia is going to help quite a bit. We'll get rid of the Fairy's Protection. I don't think it's nearly good enough in this matchup. Maybe don't need all of them. Their artifacts are not that threatening. I don't like the bodyguards or the venerable knights because they're just simply gonna get stopped by a lot of their 1/3s and 1/1s, and yeah. So no point unless we hit our lords, but I'd rather just take them out and swing in with lords. Well, we got 2 rest in peace, so I think it's an automatic keep. Lead on the fervent, go into turn 2, rest in peace. And hope we hit our land for turn 3 Benelish Marshal. That'd be great. Old Benny. Hit our land. Glad I didn't play out that Plains too quickly. So I don't know how effective the rest in peace is actually going to be against their deck. It's going to stop Emery, of course, but I don't know how much else. They are playing Luris as well. Okay. I think it might actually be Worthy Knight and Shieldbreaker just to destroy the Stone Serpent. Yeah. Look at the Shieldbreaker doing some good work there. Oh. Well, it's better that they take that than the Benelish Marshal, that's for sure. Let's get the Marshal out. Might actually have to rely on the Cave of the Frost Dragon at some point in this game. Darn. Well, that complicates things, doesn't it? think it was necessary to make that trade. Should have put it on the Venerable Knight. That was a mistake. Because then they would have been incentivized to block the Venerable Knight, and could have gotten a +1/+1 counter on maybe the Veteran or the champ. Probably the champion, actually. I don't think I want to put out this. I don't think it's necessary. I'm going to hold Thalia back. Whew. All right. Get that in there. Actually, definitely am going to bring in the other Shield Breaker. I forgot that they had the Stonecoil Serpent in the deck. Actually, makes me want to bring in the Baffling Ends as well, because that card, the Stonecoil Serpent's really annoying. It can, if it comes out as a 4/4, just makes everything really awkward for us. I don't like the Worthy Knights, so I'm gonna go down those. So what have you been playing in Magic? Are you playing Historic? Are you playing Standard 2022 still? Ooh, guess we'll keep that. I'd like to hear what you're up to. I think all of you know that I'm a little blah on the formats right now. Magic in general. Still want to make videos though, so here I am. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to hear what you guys are doing to keep things interesting. No more lands. I don't want to see a single land from the top of my deck. Please. 5 is plenty. Putting out the Rest in Peace first, because if they do decide to trade with the Stonecoil, or not trade, but give us the Stonecoil Serpent, it would get exiled. Could be relevant for later. Although when this enters the battlefield, it exiles, so it's actually irrelevant. Oh. Okay, so maybe the graveyard stuff is not that important for them. I'm surprised they didn't take the Rest in Peace. Oh, well, that explains why they didn't take the Rest in Peace. It's a good card. Maybe I can flash in it and get the Stonecoil. Okay. Although I don't know if I want to put in the Stonecoil in the graveyard with the Emery on the board now that I think about it. Oh, that might have been a mistake. Ooh, doubling up on the Emerys. I really like this idea with the Emery in the portable hole. I think kind of just nothing we can do without our Rest in Peace. Really needed it on the field. Really, really, really. So they decided to go with Stonecoil for 2. Okay. Can't they cast it for X2? Alright, opponent's doing cool stuff. Let's let them have their fun. I see now. Well, are they going to really be able to get up to Jace mana? I suppose if they have the 4 Mox Ambers. Yeah. Oh, and they can actually no, of course they can, because as long as they get two Mox Ambers, they can actually just cycle them. So what ends up happening here is they loop with the Mox Ambers, they eventually mill themselves out, and then they put in the Jace. I believe that's what's going to happen. I don't want to sit here through this. Yeah. But I don't think they can fail at this point. Although just one excavator, does that provide enough? Oh, now they have two. Actually, I want to see it. I'm very curious. This is the first time. This is going to allow them to put 4 cards in the graveyard at each loop with the Mox Amber. So they're not going to run out of cards, certainly. Actually, it was very close for them. I, I guess. 19 cards left. Hmm. That's cool. At least it's something different. It's kind of lame. I'm not. Uh, as far as like decks that I dislike, control would be number two, and combo decks like infinite combo decks are definitely number one. Although I do like seeing them once in a while when they become meta breaking, then yeah, it gets pretty annoying. So we're not gonna make the opponent do that. They have 4 mana open. Jace is coming, and then they just have to keep looping it a couple more times. Pretty neat. A couple more. Okay, match number 3. Try to pick up a win with this deck. I hope so. I want it to be good, but it's hey, that's like the best curve we could kind of hope for, right? Historic is probably just too strong for doing this kind of stuff. All right, here we go. Jund food. Yeah. Kind of speechless. I don't know. I really, I'm in a weird place mentally. There are so many new card designs that I just absolutely loathe, and Cauldron Familiars right up there with like literally the worst design of a card. It's just so poorly worded and constructed. I hate everything about it. Why would they print cards that you can't like interact with? Sacrifice food, return it. There's no point. Even if you have Graveyard Hate, like you can't, like, unless you have Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace is the only Graveyard Hate that deals with it. Graph Digger's Cages. No, I guess Graph Digger's gets rid of it. But like the artifacts that exile graveyards, I can't remember what it would be called, but why would they block there? They have removal for the veteran? Cool. And we'll kill the Colony from there. Yeah, food. Food is fun. I I when I look at food as a mechanic, I can't help but think the reason I hate food is because it's how often do you see people actually using it for like the intended like gain 3 life purpose? It just doesn't happen, right? It's always somebody using it in some kind of abusive way. And of course the other cards that are in the format support those kinds of ways, so maybe they're you can consider them not exactly, abusing the mechanic, but when I first saw food, I was like, oh, that's kind of a neat mechanic. It's going to be good for, giving people a little bit of sustain, and the cost is good, 2 for 3 life. That's neat. And you don't see that. It's just, in Modern, you're going to get 3 food, bring back a troll for free, Cauldron Familiar loops, draw card loops. Yeah. Oh, I hate this game. I This hand feels great. Like this is like the best I think opening I could have had. It's awesome. But I don't think it's going to be good enough to beat like a Cauldron here. Oh, we got it. I wonder, the opponent, I feel like they could have fought through it. They bring back the Cauldron Familiar. They'd have to give up the Wolf Strider, though. Well, they wouldn't have to. They could just let 2 of them go through, go down to 1. All right, Rest in Peace, thankfully, we do have in the deck, so that can come in. I do like the Shield Breaker, because I got to assume they're going to have a Oven. I don't necessarily like Teferi's Protection in this matchup. And I don't particularly like the Dauntless Bodyguard because it's a 1 toughness creature 2/1. Just dies too easily to Mayhem Devil Pings. So we'll take that out. Actually, I might take out the 2 Venerable Knights as well. Wait. Yeah, I'm not sure what deck I'd actually like to run into. Oh, big problem. Let's try it. I might regret this one. Yeah. I get annoyed with Elves. I get annoyed with Control. I don't want to see junk food. I'm just in a bad place. I don't know what opponent's deck would be interesting. Something new. Actually, I like that last deck. The combo loop. The artifact loop was neat to see, although it's strong. I think it's easily disrupted with like a Rest in Peace or something. Oh. So we're not going to draw a 3rd white source. Alright, so at least I can get rid of the Cauldron Familiar before it starts doing nasty things. Goose goose. Well, you know what? That's not too bad. So I'm going to go Worthy Knight, then the Fervent, triggering the Worthy Knight. And no point in attacking in. Not yet. Opponent's also having mana problems. So yeah, right there, they're not using the food for its intended purpose of gaining 3 life. Like, they're using it to draw a card with Trail Crumbs. And we get lucky, we win. I don't feel like the deck won that one. I feel like, yeah, fate had our backs. Let's play one more. Okay, 4th and final match. Let's hope for something interesting. Cool matchup. Let's go. Ooh, that's not going to be good enough. All right, at least it's a curve. The one mountain showing up again. Sneaky boy. What I'm wondering now is if I want to lead on the Dauntless Bodyguard or not. I think I do. That's kind of like the awkwardness of this deck. I've always found that about cards like Worthy Knight and Dauntless Bodyguard. I never know quite how to play them out. Now I'm realizing that the tournament grounds is going to be bad for History of Benelia. Not a Night Saga. It could have been a Night Saga. That would have been neat. Opponent on some kind of Temur deck. I have no idea what that could be. Cool sleeves. That's the one good thing I'm still enjoying about Magic is the awesome art in the game. Like, look at this. This is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Oh boy. So one thing I know I once in a while, like on YouTube, Team APS, if you know those guys, their Yu-Gi-Oh YouTube channel, they'll pop up from time to time on my YouTube recommended videos, and I'll always watch their stuff. I think their stuff is great. I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know anything about it other than, you know, I remember watching it as a kid, or I remember reading the first like 20 volumes of the manga, I think, something like that, which is great. I love the manga. It was fun. But the art, like when I look at the cards and I see the art, it's not interesting. I think it kind of looks bad, personally. Abundant Harvest into Abundant Harvest. Compared to Magic art. Magic art just looks so awesome. What are they up to? I have no idea. Let's bring in Thalia's. Take out one Worthy Knight, two Teffi Protection, and one Dauntless Body. Oh, we don't need to do that. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh art. The cards look like they're kind of neat, but they're very busy, the art. I never really know what's going on. You gotta maybe look at the card a little bit more closely. But it's very flashy and techy. It feels like there's just stuff everywhere. And that's one of the reasons why I love art, or the art in Magic, is that it's more streamlined, and it's always paint. A lot of the time it's like paintings. It's good. I like art, or Magic art. One of the reasons I got into the game was definitely because the cards were so attractive. And I'm just rambling because I have nothing to really talk about, because Zoe Bear is taking their time with deciding to play first or second. Okay. Well, they're going first, because why wouldn't they? What's going on? Get out of here. Basic Mountain. 1 out of 60. What are you doing? Well, our mana base looks a little bit better this time, even though we do have the basic mountain. We're going to be able to cast anything in our deck. Maybe build up to our Embercleave. First one of the game. They shocked that in, making me think they must have... What is it? It's going to be a Bone Crusher? Some kind of removal? Or is it going to be a... It's going to be a Growth Spiral. That's what it is. Oh, it was Bone Crusher. Okie doke. Well, History of Benalia is not bad. Bone Crusher is a bit of a problem. Power Creep is not real. Look at that card. Well, Cave of the Frost Dragon is actually going to be relevant this game. I think I'm going to play out the Inspiring Vantage and then maybe hold up the Guardian of Faith. I think that's what's happening. And then plan for a big attack with History's trigger and an Embercleave next turn. Yeah. There's the Growth Spiral. So we've called their 2 cards. Sure. They have a Sweeper, Anger of the Gods. It's just... The game's so easy. Everybody, like everybody's just playing the most basic bitch stuff. No, that's disappointing. Okay. Well, the cool thing is we still get our Embercleave next turn and a pretty good attack with the history. So, yeah, let's push as much damage as we can, and then we can follow up this massive attack with maybe the Cave of the Frost Dragon, as predicted, a way of closing out the game. Let's put out the Dauntless Bodyguard as well on the token, just to get an extra layer of protection. So they got to deal with this board, then they got to deal with the Cave of the Frost Dragon. Gonna be hard. All right, so we pick up a win. Let's go to a wrap up. Okie doke. So Boros Knights, yeah, maybe there's something here. This deck was just kind of thrown together by me this morning after my friend recommended it. Maybe with some tweaks, a little bit of finagling here and there, it could end up being something pretty cool. I was a little bit disappointed with the Fairy's Protection. We had it in hand at times, but it just never really played out like I imagined it would. However, Guardian of Faith did prove itself to be a pretty good card, mostly because it is a awesome body. A 3/2 Vigilance Knight is going to be pretty relevant, even if it's not protecting our creatures. And at times, it did successfully protect some of our creatures. So I really like Guardian of Faith. It's an awesome card. Teferi's Protection, I still think there's something to that card. Maybe it shouldn't be main board. Maybe putting it in the side. Got to think a little bit more about that. I wish we had one or two more Knights that were pretty good that we could squeeze in the 1 or 2 slot. I especially think the 2 slot is very weak. Worthy Knight, it's just not going to be good enough. Maybe it's not really a knight card, although it only triggers on knights. I don't know. This card's kind of meh, in my opinion. It never works out the way I want it to work out, mostly because it comes down on 2, and then you've already, played out some good cards, or I don't know. Something about it doesn't jive with me. Also, Side of the Wreckage, saw that in the Elf game, and in the intro I said it's going to be good against Elves, and it was awful against Elves, because if they're not attacking with Craterhoof Behemoth going all in, you're not going to get them fully wiped. Their board is going to leave behind some powerful mana generating creatures that are still going to be 4/4s or 5/5s or whatever, infinitely big creatures. So I'm not sure about Settle the Wreckage. Maybe it's good to have in the deck as a 2-of. We'll see. Embereth Shieldbreaker proved itself very useful in that one game. Unfortunately, we lost that overall match, but still this card I think is pretty good. Maybe it's even worthy of the main board. I'm not sure how prevalent artifacts are, but pretty cool card. Overall, I mean, it's neat. It's fun. I don't hate playing the deck. It's fun to get out with a nice big board state and just slam in. And that's kind of what the Knights are all about. Anyways, that's it for today. Take care for now. See ya in the next one. Bye-bye.